This conference will now be recorded.
Mir Suresh. Okay. Online people, is I am audible? Online people, is I am audible? Please respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good. Up to now, two to three classes was completed, but whatever it may be, that was completed. It is not 100% compulsory. Okay. So it is just knowing about myself, knowing about the tool. Okay. And how I am teaching, how you are reaching, how you are connecting to my tool. That is the thing we discussed on the last class. Actual class will be started today itself. Okay, so simply we are going to teach a Splunk tool. Okay, Splunk tool. So with respect to data analysis and SOC analysis and SOC analysis, SOC analysis, whatever it may be. Splunk is the one of the software platform which makes your unstructured data into a structured format. Basically, if you want to do some data analysis, whatever it may be, whatever the analysis it should be, only the supported data is structured and semi-structured. Semi-structured. So for that reason, you in the world, we have only 30 to 40% of data only structured and semi-structured. Structured and semi-structured. Remaining 70 to 60 to 70%. 60 to 70% is unstructured data. Unstructured data. But unstructured data is not suitable for data analysis. Okay. Now, as a data analyst, as a SOC analyst, or as a monitoring person, okay, as a Splunk person, we need to work on unstructured data only. We need to work on unstructured data. What is the example of unstructured data? Mission generated data. Mission generated data in the form of log files. Log files. In the form of log files. చెప్పు ఏం లేదు చెప్పు. Okay, mission generated data in the form of log files. These log files, which is not understandable language, it is not suitable for doing analysis. Okay, so to do analysis on this top of unstructured data called as a log files, we need to converts converts into structured format. Do you got my point? Structured format. Whatever this unstructured data needs to be unstructured data converts into structured format, then only you can do data analysis. You can we can apply data analysis. You got my point? Simply, so we are going to work on unstructured data. Unstructured data is not suitable for analysis, complex to understand. To make it as understandable, to make it as a structured format, or best data doing for the data analysis. So for that, we are using the Splunk tool. Splunk is the software platform which will convert your unstructured data into structured format for meaningful and data analysis. Understand? Simple, sir. Okay, tool. It's a one tool which will helpful for doing data analysis on any type of data. Understand? No. Why Splunk? We just go through the last recording class. Why? Because there is a lot of features. That is, it has a huge storage capacity, fast search. Any input will be connected. Any type of file will be connected. Okay, and also good documentation support is there, and it has a more integration possibilities with the help of apps and add-ons. In your mobile, there is a applications. Na? How you are using your mobile for multiple purposes. Same like Splunk also used for multiple purposes. Why? Because there is a multiple applications are there, multiple apps are there. So that's the reason we are going with Splunk instead of other tools. And the next, it is in started in 2003. When? 2003, with three guys, Michael, Rabdas, Irkspan. Okay, and recently into December 2002, 23, Cisco was purchased. Now it is a Cisco company. Cisco, Cisco company. Now it is a Cisco company. Understand? Now where? Anywhere, sir. Anywhere. Let's say, for example, if you talk about Provac, in Provac also we can use Splunk. Let's say, for example, I am the owner of Provac. I'm every time I'm teaching the classes and I'm working for my company. I don't have a time to monitor my 5 employees. Yes or no? So even I keep a cameras also. Cameras don't help. Why? Because if cameras will record for 24/7, at least I need 5 to 6 hours time to spend to see entire video. No, it is not correct. So for that reason, what they will do? So I done. I just install the Splunk software in their laptops. Okay, and I just sending their logs to my Splunk. Okay, at the evening time I just search for index equals to Tejaswini, index equals to Sunil, index equals to Ramu, and checking for the RAI events. If any Instagrams are there, any other Facebook logs are there, or any other social media logs are there, then we'll just go through them. Why this log was generated morning 10 a.m. and it was generated at 12 p.m. That means from morning 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. you just involved in Instagram activities. It's not the correct time. No? If it is a log is generated at 1 to 2 p.m., no problem. It is a lunch time. We can excuse us. You got my point? It's kind of monitoring. Let's say simple. We can configure the alert also. If she open the Instagram, that log will be generated. All real time data will be sent to my laptop. Immediately, one alert will be sent to my mail. Okay, they just me open the Instagram. You got it's a simple understanding. Okay, that means that any industry we can use this Splunk for monitoring their infra. Why? Because in this companies they have a multiple servers. No? Huge amount of servers, sensors, routers, devices, different devices are there. Somebody will trying to access the server, somebody will doing that activity. Yes or no? This all will be monitored with Splunk. Very piece of information can be monitored with Splunk. It is not only one thing. For example, there is a attack happened. For example, your system, have HDFC Bank is there. Somebody are trying to access your credentials with HDFC Bank to theft your money. Okay, this hacker is trying to access your server or HDFC server with your credentials. Okay, where HDFC don't know whether it's you are accessing or hacker accessing. You got my point? Then if you give a complaint after one day, HDFC people needs to investigate it. Okay, why? Because as a authorized legitimate user, legitimate means authorized user, legal user. I am the legal user. I am saying that I didn't access that server. That means that somebody will access it. But HDFC is need to be responsible for this, na? Why? Because you are claiming that I am not accessing that server and I am not transferred I am not done that transaction. That means that somebody will transfer it, somebody will done it. That somebody will be find by or find out by who? HDFC people. HDFC people will recruit one of the person, one of the person. Okay, recruit one of the persons like a SOC analyst or ethical hacker defendable. Okay, some of the SOC analyst will investigate this error. Okay, SOC analyst in the sense they will search the specific logs, HDFC server logs, and then they find out based on your user and what is your authorization, what is the region you came, and which website it is. Okay, what place you came. For example, the HDFC find out the investigation. So this axis was done by Russia. Location is showing as a Russia. That means you are in India, na? That the hacker won't be ever show their location as a correct place. They hack the device, okay, or connect the device with multiple places. So that SOC analyst needs to be investigated and show the exact place where he is operating. That time, must and should you need to access the server data. The server data is in the form of unstructured data. Unstructured data is not sought for analysis. So for that, we'll use Splunk. You got my point? But like that, anything you can use it. For example, some of the softwares are there, like Java, Java. Okay, Java are trying to create a lot of code and write a test a code. That time, lot of test errors are came. Okay, you want to find out whether this specific test error happened or not. With entire this much of running cases, run cases are code. How these guys specifically search your data? Not possible, no? So that will be connected with Splunk. Splunk having a search bar like a Google, just to search it. Simple like a Google. You got my point. Google having a more information. No? How much information it has? It has terabytes, petabytes, metabytes, multiple of thousands of petabyte data. On that, all this data will be given to you. Did you try to understand the data? No. Simply Google having a search bar. Whatever the search you want, you can search it. Then simply it is searching, na? Same like that, Splunk also Google for your data. Simply like a Google for your data. Your data, all your data into Splunk. Splunk can search act as a Google for your data. Understand, sir? This is what Splunk. Any question, online people? Up to now, please ask your questions. Yes. So as I said, like basically monitoring is the major primary asset is collecting and maintaining the data. So that, for example, HDFC Bank only. HDFC Bank consists of lots of servers, no? Okay, lots of servers. Let's say, for example, web servers, test servers, okay, net servers, database servers, okay, and other servers are there. Let's say, for example, this is my US based US based banking organization. US bank. Assume that US bank. Okay, these guys having a multiple servers in the USA. Okay, so that for example, this is my web server. Okay, web server. This is my test server. So this is USA bank test server. This is my net server. USA based net server. Okay, this is my DB server, database server. These all are US based servers. Okay, so if anything happens suspicious on these servers, I want to create a report or alert for the suspicious activity. Understand? So for that reason, what we need to do, all your data in this server needs to be collected to Splunk. So that means we need to get all this data, whatever the mission generated data or specific data needs to be here in the Splunk. This is a Splunk server. Okay. This is a Splunk server means all your data into Splunk means you need a separate storage. Na? Storage is needed in the Splunk. Na? Yeah. So for that, there is a storage called main, main, and other one is You can create a customized storages also based on the requirement. Let's say there is a web server is sending the data, net server is sending the data, test server is sending the data, DB server is also sending the data. You can store all your data in the main. It is a default index. Default index. Default one, sir. This is default one. By default, it is C drive. Like a C drive, it will be there, sir. Okay. If you want separate server, web, test, net, DB, like that you can create. That means that means you can store your data in the customized storages also. Understand, sir? This is customized indexes. Custom indexes. Understand? Indexes means storages. Multiple storages. One storage we call it as an index. Multiple storages we call it as a indexes. Understand? Indexes. One storage we call index. Multiple storages we call it as a indexes. Okay. So now all your data needs to be sent to the server means how this data is sending from here? Is it possible directly from that server? No. We need to install our agent. Our agent, that is Splunk only. We'll install the Splunk software, okay, in their servers.
We install it at
No, we need to install it. We need to, why? Because we need to interact with that server, huh?
oh, so this is for the bank.
Bank servers. So within their bank servers, okay, servers, we need to install the Splunk agent. Okay, there is other methods also. Today class, just assume this one. So this is a US bank now. A US bank consists of 1,000 servers. 1,000 servers, we need to install our Splunk agent. Splunk agent. Okay. In the Splunk agent, if you write inputs, it will collect the data. If you write outputs, it will send the data to this server. So in the inputs, we need to write to collect the data. In outputs, you need to write where you want to send it. This is a Splunk agent only now. In the Splunk, if you write a inputs, inputs will collect the data. Yes. Outputs will forward the data. Collected data will be forwarded to indexer. You got my point? See, it will collect and it will send to the data like this. Do you got my point? In this input itself, we can tell, okay, web server data into web index, test server data into test index, net server data into net index, DB server data into DB index. Like that also you can tell. No problem. Otherwise, if you don't tell any name, the data will be stored into main index by default. Like for example, while downloading, directly it will download into download C drive only. Na? If you want to go with the D drive, E drive, it is possible. Na? That means while downloading itself, you need to define the path. Same, while inputting itself, you need to tell where you want to send it. Okay. If you don't tell it by default, main index it will store. If you tell web data will be into web index, test server data into test index, net server data into net index, DB server data into DB index. Okay. All your data is available in the this server, Splunk server. This is in my location in India. You got my point? In India. Okay. Now just to open this server, there you have a search bar. There you have a search bar. Okay. Search bar. Open the search bar. Write your SPL query. SPL means Splunk query language. Splunk query language. Okay. Language. Splunk query language. Splunk query language. Okay. And create reports, alerts, and dashboards. Understand? Understand? And send to end users. End users. Configure to end users. Configure and also configure to end users. Understand, sir? So like that, they will create some reports like a dashboards, pie chart, bar charts, whatever the statistics you want, you can create it and you can send to the consulting.
Hello,
Yes, please.
hello, Ravi.
Yes, please.
Uh, Indexes are used for only storing the logs.
Storage purpose only.
No
Indexes
parsing will be take place in. No
before
parsing will
before
be take.
storing. No. Before
Hello.
storing, you can do it. Sorry. Is I audible?
Come on, go. I audible.
Yes. Yes. Before indexing, we can parse it also. We can do some segregations. So it is early to discuss. That's why I am not telling that one.
What is cost?
I will tell you. That's what.
Okay,
If
okay,
I use that word, people will confuse it. That's why I'm not using that word. Wait. Once you come
okay,
done with this knowledge, we will go through the next step. Okay. On the next step, I will
okay,
cover
okay,
it. Okay.
okay,
So
okay,
just wait it. Don't worry about it. So see, all your data into storages. Now storages will search with, for example, index equals to web. Source type equals to XYZ or employee data. Then top employee name, employee ID, salary, and performance status. So that it will give statistics na top people. So that it will be configured as a some table or visualization, and that will be sent to the consulting. Okay, this is happening. But anyways, all your data is here in this location only na. That means all any real-time data is storing into their servers, that agent immediately collecting and sending na. That means real-time data will be collecting and sending to storage na. That means this server is very busy on storing the data, continuous monitoring on inputs. You got my point? That means this is very busy to store continuous data. You got my point? Now, on the same server, you are writing a query means what will happen? Right now, I'm teaching the class real timely. Somebody call me. What will happen? I just use a hand to give the answer. Okay, he is satisfied. It is not satisfied means I need to go there, na? That time what will happen? Your class will be disturbed, na? You got my point? Here also, all your real-time data is collecting here. Okay. And other hand, you are searching the data. What will happen? What will happen? There is a performance issues will come. So for that reason, okay, this such operation is happened on the some other server. Okay. They will maintain the separate dedicated server. Dedicated Splunk server again. Okay. And this will be done with this server. This all will be done on this server. You got my point?
Search bar is also a Splunk.
Splunk only. Separate dedicated server. From there, you can use SPL query and everything. And you can query your data. Understand? Got my point? Online people? Online people. They'll create a reports like this. Bar charts, pie charts, whatever it may be. Or tables. They will create tables and just save it as reports, alerts, and the dashboards. Understand? Now, what is my name here? Splunk trainer. If I go there in outside, I'm a owner. If I go somewhere, I will be some other name, Ravi, or some other name. Depends upon the activity. My name is changing. Then there is a Splunk server which was installed on the client machine. What is the name? Forward. Splunk forward or Splunk agent or agent. Got my point? If Splunk is collecting and storing, Splunk indexer. If Splunk is querying and creating such as visualizations reports. Splunk search. One only. Splunk is one only, sir. But based on the activity, the name will be there.
Depends upon the place, the name.
Depends upon the activity.
The activity name.
Place, not activity. If the Splunk is installed on the client machine and this Splunk is used for collecting and sending, that we call it as a forwarder. If the Splunk software is installed on our location and if the Splunk is used for receiving and storing, that is called indexer. The Splunk is searching for the storage and creating reports, alerts, dashboards, that is called searcher. Basically, in the last class we talked about ELK, ELK, Elasticsearch, Logstash, Kibana. Logstash act as a input, Kibana act as a visualization. E stands for Elasticsearch for storage, na? So that this is L. In that scenario, this is L, this is E, and this is K. This is Logstash, this is Elasticsearch, this is Kibana. Instead of three softwares, we are using only same software, Splunk software, to collect the data, to send the data, to store the data, to search the data, to visualize the data. Understand?
What is it?
Basically, it is one of the alternate tool. This stands for Elasticsearch. This is the Elasticsearch also like a Splunk only. Okay, but why we are going with Splunk, I already explained in the last classes. You just go through that. But in this Elasticsearch, all three softwares can be used to do all this process. That means Logstash act as a data input. That means that it will be installed on the client machine and configure the inputs and outputs, and it is used to collect and send the data. Elasticsearch for storing and searching, storing only. Whereas Kibana will be creating a visualization. But here in the Splunk, Splunk itself act as a input, Splunk itself act as a storage, Splunk itself act as a search and visualization. Understand? Online people, any question up to now? Please ask me. Okay. Now you understand the software which was installed on the client machines to collect and send the data is a forwarder. The software installed on one computer, that computer is act as a storage and receive the data from the different source of data. Okay, whereas Sachet is used as a UI and used to create reports, alerts, dashboards from their Splunk storage. Okay, so just see the definitions of all these things. Splunk forwarder. Forwarders are Splunk software. Forwarders are Splunk software installed on client machines to collect the specified data from client servers or remote servers. And collected data will be forwarded to some other server called indexer with help of outputs.conf. Inputs will collect, output will forward the data. Simply, forwarder is a Splunk agent which is used to collect the data and send the data to a indexer. Okay, for storing purpose. Splunk indexer. Splunk indexer is a Splunk server, separate server, which is used to inject or receive the data coming from the different source of servers. Forwarders, not only forwarders, in other data sources also there. This indexer will receive the data. Okay, not only forwarder, any other methods also there to send the data. That method's data also will be received by indexer. Received by indexer. Now index. Indexer is a server. Index is a storage, separate storage. For example, C drive. This is my laptop. In the laptop, D drive, E drive, C drive is the storage. Got my point? So this is a Splunk indexer. Okay. On that D drive, E drive, C drive is a index. Index is a storage repository. Storage repository. which is used to store the data coming from the different range of sources or the data received by indexer. Okay, this is the now there is a word called indexes. What is the purpose of indexes? Indexes means actually the C drive is there. Why you are creating D drive, E drive? Hmm?
So for,
Why?
for easy access to your data.
For easy access, first point. And then all your data is in the C drive. If the system is corrupted, entire thing will be corrupted. Why it is a default one? Operating system is also installed there. There's a second point, and the third point is all your data in the C drive. Some programs are running. Sometimes, if you want to go through the specific requirement, that will be taking more time to search it. Yes or no? All your data into C drive, then what will happen? So performance issue will come, and we can't easily search it. Yes or no? And also we can't segregate your data. Okay, same like that. If you already have a main index, all your data into main index, for example. Okay, main index is there. All your data into main, web data into main, test data into main, uh, whereas net data into main, for example. What's your name? Monica. Monica is belongs to web. What's your name? Tarun. Tarun belongs to test. Ganesh belongs to net. All your data into main only, na? That means all you three guys needs to search from main index only. You got my point? That time all you guys are not 30 people means 300 people means all 300 people are searching from main index means maybe index will be getting a performance issues. Got my point? So instead of that, for Tarun, we'll create a separate index. For Monica, separate index. For Ganesh, separate index. So that all your people are searching for test in net in sorry web index. Tarun people will search from the test index. Ganesh people will search from the net index. Do you got my point? So that differentiation is coming, and also easy access of their data. Okay, and also fast searching. See, right now all your data is in the one main index. Ganesh needs only net index. Maybe his events are 10 events only, but all events are 1 lakh events. Out of 1 lakh events, 10 events he is searching. How how much time it is taking? But separate index means 10 events are in separate index, so that he can directly point it, na? You got my point? Much more filters are not needed. You got my point? So in this case, fast search will be happening. So see why we are creating indexes, because of the first point is good performance on search and storage, and the second one is uh, easy search by users by own data, easy search for the own data. Okay, and the third point is retention policy. What is retention policy? For example, Monica belongs to web server. Monica is asking to store Monica's data, web server data, for next 3 months only. But Tarun is asking for next 6 months to store. Ganesh is expecting the his data in Splunk for next 1 year. That means different people have different approaches on their retention policy. Whereas here Monica's team having a 3 months, Tarun team having a 6 months, whereas Ganesh team having a 1 year. Separate na. If all your data in one main index, how you will separate it? Why? Because retention policy will be different to the index. You got me? Main index 1 year means all you have 1 year only. Instead, it is not possible. So that if you create a separate index, so that you can maintain separate retention policy, na? No? That is the best option. What is the use of indexes? Because of first one is good performance on search and storage, and the second point is easy search by users for your own data, and the third point is retention policy, separate retention policy you can maintain. Understand, Ganesh? Huh? అర్థం కాలేదు మళ్ళీ చెప్పిన అదే ఓకే గుడ్ నౌ సచెడ్ నౌ సచెడ్ వాట్ ఈస్ సచెడ్ సచెడ్ ఈస్ ఎ Splunk only. What is the purpose of Splunk searched? It is used to search the data from the indexer and write a query with SPL query. They will search the data from the indexes, and they will create reports, alerts, dashboards from their own UI. UI means user interface. Understand? This is about definitions of all three. Four components, three components: Splunk forwarder, Splunk indexer, Splunk searcher. You got my point? Online people. Any question up to now? Please see for 2 minutes and ask your questions.
What are the other types of forward?
Two types only: universal forwarder and away forwarder. I will explain you. Wait. Just next point will be that only. Just wait.
Retention policies.
మామూలుగా మనకేంటంటే స్టోరేజెస్ ఒక్కొక్కరు ఒక్కోలాగా. ఇప్పుడు కొన్ని క్రిటికల్ కాంపోనెంట్స్ ఆఫ్ సర్వర్స్ ఉంటాయి. అవేంటంటే వాళ్ళు ఎక్కువ రోజులు డేటా మెయింటైన్ చేయాల్సి వస్తుంది. కొన్ని క్రిటికల్ కాంపోనెంట్స్ ఏమి ఉండవు, వాళ్ళు తక్కువ డేటాను మెయింటైన్ చేయడం సరిపోతుంది. కానీ మీరు ఎంతసేపు అయితే డేటాను మెయింటైన్ చేస్తున్నా అంత లైసెన్స్ పర్చేజ్ చేయాలి మీరు. అంత స్టోరేజ్ కూడా కన్సిడర్ అవుతూ ఉంటుంది మీ దాంట్లో, మీ స్ప్లంక్లో. దానివల్ల ఏంటి, మీ అవసరాన్ని బట్టి మీరు ఎన్ని రోజులు మెయింటైన్ చేయాలో అన్ని రోజులే మెయింటైన్ చేస్తారు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, మీకు ఎర్రర్ వస్తే ఎంత పాసిబిలిటీ ఆఫ్ డేస్లో మీరు చెక్ చేసుకుంటారు మీ కంపెనీ పాలసీస్లో. కొన్ని వెబ్ సర్వర్స్ ఉంటాయి, నెట్వర్కింగ్ సర్వర్స్ ఉంటాయి. బేస్డ్ ఆన్ దట్ సెక్యూరిటీ డివైజెస్ మహా అయితే ఒక 3 months వరకు మెయింటైన్ చేస్తారు. ఓకే. లేదు, కొన్ని డేటా అనాలిసిస్కి సంబంధించి డేటాబేస్లు అంటే ఒక 6 months అట్లా మెయింటైన్ చేసుకుంటారు. లేదు 1 year కూడా మెయింటైన్ చేస్తారు. ఓకే. వాళ్ళ అవసరాల బట్టి ఒక్కొక్క డేటాని ఒక్కొక్క టైప్, ఒక్కొక్క రిటెన్షన్ పాలసీతో స్టోర్ చేస్తారు. నువ్వు అన్నీ తీసుకెళ్ళి ఒకే దాంట్లో పెడితే ఆ సపరేషన్ అనేది మనం చేయలేం. అర్థమైందా? సో దానికని సపరేట్ ఇండెక్స్లు పెట్టుకోవడం వల్ల ఎవరి దానికి చెప్పొచ్చు అనమాట. ఇప్పుడు నేను ఉన్నాం, సి డ్రైవ్ ఉంది, అది లైఫ్ టైం ఉంచుకోవాలనుకుంటాం. ఈ డ్రైవ్, డి డ్రైవ్ లైఫ్ టైం ఉంచవు కదా. ఎందుకంటే డి డ్రైవ్లో ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్ ఉంటుంది, ఈ డ్రైవ్లో ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఉంటుంది. ఎడ్యుకేషన్ నీకు బోర్ కొడితే తీసేస్తావు, డిలీట్ చేస్తావు కదా. అంటే ఒక్కొక్క దానికి ఒక్కొక్క రిటెన్షన్ పాలసీ. ఓకే. నీకు ఇష్టమైన మూవీస్ లైఫ్ టైం పెట్టుకుంటావు, నీకు నచ్చే ఒక్కసారి చూసే మూవీస్ చూసేసి డిలీట్ చేస్తావు. అన్నీ ఒకే చోట పెట్టేస్తే నేను సపరేషన్ అనేది ఎలా అయింది, అది రిటెన్షన్. Online people, online people. No. Actually, what will happen is, let's say for example, totally two types of forwarders are there. Two types of Splunk forwarders I am talking now, that are two types. Two types of forwarders are there. One is, okay, universal forwarder, and other one is heavy forwarder. Heavy forwarder, universal forwarder and heavy forwarder. And also in the Splunk .com. Two softwares are possible. One is Universal Forwarder software and other one is Splunk Enterprise software. This is a software, Universal Forwarder software consists of around 100 MB, okay, size, MB size, and this is Splunk Enterprise software, and so of around 450, around 450 plus size, MB size. Understand?
Universal forward is not Scrum.
Software, Splunk only, but Splunk there is separate software. హలో అన్నా చెప్పు. అదే నువ్వు వెళ్ళిపోయావా 15 minutes వస్తున్నా. Okay, Universal Forwarder software and Splunk Enterprise software. Both are Splunk softwares only. Purpose based on the requirement. Let's say for example, అంటే ఇది మళ్ళీ దీని ఎగ్జాంపుల్గా తీసుకోకండి, జస్ట్ మీకు అర్థం ఫర్ నో అండర్స్టాండింగ్ పర్పస్ ఐఎమ్ టీచింగ్. Let's say I want to bring R movie from one of my friend. You have a hard disk and you have a pen drive. Which one you use? Why? Because you need only one R movie. You need 100 of movies from your friend. Then hard disk. Both are storages only, no? Then why you are using pen drive some cases? Why you are using hard disk in some cases? Based on the requirement. Same here also, both are Splunk components only. Splunk softwares only. In some situations we will use a universal forwarder. In some situations we will use a heavy forwarder. That's it. In what situations we'll talk. Okay. Online people understand these 2 points. Let's say this is our client machine. Assume that this is a HDFC bank server. This bank server people are asking, hey, I am not supposed to give as it is my data to you, to the Splunk. This is the Splunk, na? Splunk indexer, na? Yes or no? Splunk indexer, na? So these guys are telling that, hey, Splunk guy, I am not ready to give as it is data to you. You got my point? I am not ready to give as it is data to you. And he is asking to do some segregation. He is asking to do some filtering. He is asking to do some masking. Masking means, for example, HDFC Bank consists of some account number or ATM numbers, PIN numbers are there. No? So he is not ready to give as it is passwords and PIN numbers to my Splunk. So he is asking to do customizations, and whatever the customizations that will be confirmed by the concerned person, then only you just send the data to your server. You got my point? Yes, sir. That means lot of requirements are there in that server itself. That means universal forwarder won't support there. We'll install the Splunk agent or Splunk component called heavy forwarder. Understand? Why? Because he is expecting a customizations. Heavy forwarder, what it will do? It will collect. It will inputs. Heavy forwarder inputs will collect the data. Okay, collects the data. Collects the data. AV forwarder inputs will collect the data. Okay. And before sending the data, there is a configuration called props and transforms. These will customize the data. So these configurations will customize and parsing. That only we mean it as a parsing. Customization, modifications, we call it as a parsing, filtering, categorization, everything. Filtering, filter. Got my point, sir?
So parsing means like masking the.
Masking or any whatever the data you are changing something, or if you are for example your event is not perfectly happened, you are doing perfect happening, that we call it as parsing. Segmentation, breaks into lines, or line breaking, or timestamp apply, these all we consider as a parsing. Okay. Filtering, if you are doing anything to your data, that we consider as a parsing or filtering or customization, that will be happen with these props and transforms. Once it will be happened, outputs will do. Outputs will send the data to this indexer. Understand? You got my point. Okay. Now this is a Splunk. Call it as a indexer. Na? Indexer will receive the data based on the inputs. Inputs will receive the data. Again, same thing you want to do, you can do.
Again.
Again, if you want, you can do. Is it possible? And sorry. And after that, you can store it. Storing means indexes, not outputs are here. Indexes. These are the configurations, sir. Inputs will collect the data, props and transforms will customize it, parsing and filtering. Output will forward the data to a some other server called indexer. Indexer input will receive the data, and again props and transforms will customize it, parsing and filtering, and after that it will store the data. Understand, sir? Online people. Storage. అండర్స్టాండ్? అర్థం కాకపోతే మళ్ళీ అడగండి, ఎందుకంటే చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. మీరు ఎన్నిసార్లు అడిగినా నేను చెప్పడానికి రెడీగా ఉన్నాను. ఈవెన్ ఇంగ్లీష్ పీపుల్ యూ జస్ట్ టాక్ అగైన్, నో ప్రాబ్లమ్. ఈవెన్ ఇఫ్ ఐ యూజ్ ఎ తెలుగు ఆల్సో, డోంట్ కన్ఫ్యూజ్. యూ అగైన్ ఆస్క్ మీ, డెఫినెట్లీ ఐ విల్ హెల్ప్ యూ. సో వన్ ఆఫ్ ద మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ subject, next to 2 to 3 hours of classes, if you know, you can clear 30 to 40% of admin interview. Interview maximum theoretical only. So if you listen very carefully of next 3 to 4 hours classes, you can clear the admin interview. 30 to 40% of interview completed. That much of important and critical class. You got my point? If you install the heavy forwarder collects any data, any type of data, and parse the data, transform the data, customize the data, and filter the data, and send the data to a some other server called indexer. Indexer will receive the data. Again, indexer will parse the data, transform the data, customize the data, and filter the data. And indexers will store the data. And after that, searcher will go and search the data from the indexes. Understand, sir? Yes or no? Searcher. Searcher will search the data and write a SPL query. Understand, sir? Understand? Any question? Next, another scenario. Another scenario. Same HDFC bank consists of some other data. Some other data. They are not expecting any customizations. they are ready to send as it is data to your server. If any customizations are there, they're recommending you can do from your server. They don't have in specific requirement, so you can do from your server also. So for that, we can install universal forward. Understand? Universal forward. Okay. If your universal forwarder is there, this will be happen. It is not possible. It is not possible, sir. It is only possible on structured data input. Again, please remember, sir, any input will be collected. Any input will be collected. Any input will be collected, sir. Understand? Whereas this also any input will be collected. But in any input, it can be parsed, it can be customized, it will be transfer it. But universal forwarder will be only possible on structured data. In other data type, props and transforms are not possible. Understand?
Yes.
In other data type, in other data types, it is not possible. It is not possible. Understand? Not possible. Props and transforms we can't include in the universal forwarder. Only universal forwarder is collects the data and send the data. If your data input is for structured data for any type of data collected, sir, but in that structured data, then only you can parse it, you can filter it, you can customize it. Okay, so then universal forwarder is not supported with props and transforms, no problem. In the indexer you can do it, we can do from the indexer. That's my point. Why? Because even a client is not having a requirement that you can do parsing at their server itself. They are ready to give their data to my server, Splunk server. Splunk server will receive, and you can customize it, you can transform it, you can do it whatever you want, and then send the data to indexer storage. Got my point, sir? Requirement based on the requirement. How you are using a pen drive and how you are using a hard disk. So here requirement is based on the client. There is no requirement for the client. He is ready to give the as it is data to you. So that simply universal forwarder is enough. Why? Universal forwarder, universal forwarder, universal forwarder. No license required. No license required. Whereas heavy forwarder needs a license. Understand, sir? Costly, sir. Heavy forwarder needs license. Heavy forwarder license required. So it is no license required, it is license required. That's why based on the requirement, okay. See, hard disk will be very costly, whereas pen drive will be cheaper. So if you have a usage of pen drive, what is the use of purchasing hard disk? You got my point?
Yeah.
If you have a usage of hard disk, what is the help? What will happen if you go through the pen drive? Not fulfilled, na? So like that. So here definitely no customization is required. So for that, simply we'll go with a non-licensed part, universal forwarder, free software. Free software will collect it, send it, and anything you want to do, index level you can do.
And there will be no issue using this universal
No.
format, like no data.
In entire process, for example, you have a company of 100 forwarders. 100 forwarders. Out of 100 forwarders, 95 is a universal forwarder. 5 is only heavy forwarder.
There will be no data breaching.
That that considerations are there. Heavy forwarder will be used. Secure point of view, everything will be fine, sir. Okay, but somewhere they are not ready to allow it, and somewhere universal forward is a free tool. It won't support for all the activities. Now, they don't have that much of capability. That time, must and should you need to go with a heavy forward. You got my point. So there is a application in your mobile. So that is a editor application. This is editing very well. Then did you purchase any paid version? It is not fulfilling your requirements. Then paid version. Same. Your input is not fulfilling. Go to the paid version called AV forward. Your inputs are fulfilling. Just use a AV forward. So universal forward. Understand? So any question, please ask me.
Splunk main role is unstructured data and structured.
Splunk main role not main unstructured data into structured. It is supported for data analysis, whatever the data type it should be. But it is good enough on unstructured data into structured, structured into structured, unstructured also. If your data is in structured, you ఇది నాది కాదంటావా అది కూడా తెచ్చుకోవాలిగా. Any type of data can be connected by Splunk. అది మన మెయిన్ పాయింట్. For analysis. To do analysis, your data needs to be on Splunk. If you want to get the data from the Splunk, get the data to Splunk means we need a process. On the process, we need a one component to collect it, to send it. So on that universal folder, AV folder based on the requirement. This, for example, all your data in my laptop only. Here itself, I want to create an analysis. No forwarder, no indexer, no such. One Splunk software. There itself you will collect it. There itself you will send it. There itself you will store it. There itself will create a report. That means that is only forwarder, that is only indexer, that is only such. But data is some other place. I want to get the data to my Splunk, so that I will install the Splunk software in that place. The Splunk is used to collect the data and send the data to my server. My server, I will write a query and create a reports. But my server is impacting on searching, so that I will keep it a separate server, and the search will be search from separate server and create a reports and alerts dashboards. But on the some other place, there is a more requirement. Okay, I can't install a Splunk directly. Why? Because it is licensed. Okay, when the requirement will be there, then only I will install the Splunk software in the client machine. Instead of that, just use a free tool called universal forward to collect the data. So there is a difference between universal forward and every forwarder. We'll discuss more these differentiations on tomorrow class. Difference between universal forward. Already 2 points are discussed. So more points we'll discuss. In which cases we'll use a universal forwarder, in which cases we'll use a heavy forwarder. Basically, whatever the forwarder it should be, the main goal of forwarder is to collect and send the data. Whatever the data. Based on the requirement, you can use a universal forwarder. Based on the requirement, you can use a heavy forwarder. Online people, please ask me any questions. That's all enough. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Have a nice day.